Welcome back to the channel. Today we're looking at thrust and how players lose space, and one of the most common patterns that I see is a player with their lead hip early in the backswing, losing space, the pelvis is moving closer to the ball, and from that move away, the player very rarely doesn't recover. So I've got a simple exercise today I want to take you through. Hopefully if that's your pattern, the exercise today will help you with your game. Thanks again for joining me. So today we're looking at a pattern that we have looked at before. I simply wanted to share another way that players could go about building awareness for how to maintain space as they move through backswing. Before I go into the exercise though, simply wanted to share that I am doing more online lessons. So if you want my take on your game, there's a couple of different options. There's the swing analysis option where you can send me your swings and I can provide detailed analysis and personalized videos of how to improve. But then there's also the Zoom online live lesson in which we get on a call where I'm in this bay here and we go through the drills. I watch you hit and we make sure you're clear on what you need to do to make the improvements you want to see. Okay, so going into the exercise, keeping space, very, very common theme. And the exercise I'm going to share with you today is basically a slight adaptation from a very common warm-up exercise that I use with players to help them to build awareness of how to move and rotate through backswing. Very simply, when a player's showing that movement that I showed in the introduction where the lead hip is moving towards the ball, or I should say the pelvis is moving towards the ball, the lead hip is actually, I would say, moving more over the lead toes early in the backswing. We see that movement commonly, or very regularly in players, I should say, when players are achieving the rotation through the pelvis having to adapt in the takeaway. So what we need to do is look at how they can improve their rotation in the start of their swing in other areas. So maybe the sequence of the move away, maybe it's how they're rotating through the T-spine, through the neck. Those things can all be considered, but the exercise I'm showing today is a very intuitive one to help a player to build an improved awareness of how they could move around that lead hip. So all I would have the player do is to take their start position. I'm actually going to show you this first face on, just to get an awareness of the movement, just trying to keep it as simple as possible there. But if we take setup position, all I'm going to have a player do is, as they're moving the club away, I'm going to have them tap their heels. So again, down the line, trying to show you find the best angle to see it. You see I'm tapping my heels there, so one after the other, almost in a marching rhythm with a kind of a quick pace. So as I'm tapping my heels, I'm going to move slowly through backswing to the point where my left arm or my lead arm is horizontal to the ground. So what this exercise does is it helps the player maintain a certain level of pressure in their lead heel that they would lose if the lead hip moves over the lead toe. So if I'm tapping my heels there as I move back, you can see I'm still achieving rotation with the pelvis. I'm rotating quite nicely with my rib cage. For me, obviously, because I've spent a lot of time on the game, the sequence of the move away, the club head, hands, arms, and the rib cage, very much aware of what I'm trying to achieve there. But I would say for players that if they were to simply tap the heels, get to here, pause, and then just get a sense of what it feels like, the connection to the ground, the pressure through the feet, especially in that lead heel, in comparison to if they were to take the normal swing there, they would feel a lot more pressure in the front part of their lead foot than after going through that little exercise there. So really cool little intuitive exercise to help a player to get awareness of what it may feel like to move around that lead hip. Because the lead hip, I would say, when I kind of compare the feel between here and if I was to just go here, it feels very, very different how I'm moving around that lead hip. So great little exercise for how a player moves around their lead hip through backswing. And often most focus is put around the lead hip as you move into downswing. It's almost one of those focal points for transition. So just kind of tie together there. If the player moves a certain way around the lead hip in backswing, it's really going to influence how they move around that lead hip in transition. So really simple little exercise there. One that I really, really like, provides some great feedback there as to how I could move around that lead hip. And again, the objective there is to create more space, feel like I have a ton more room, moving into downswing for my hands to make a nice move into impact there. So very simple one there for you. Play around with it. Love that one again, because it's one you can do away from the golf course and just get a really nice sense of, you know, what it might feel to be that little bit further away from the ball, and what it might feel to move around that lead hip a little bit better in backswing.